This is Baylan Skoll's Black Series Lightsaber, the first orange blade in the collection, and I genuinely can't decide if it's worth the price tag of $250. This is Lightsaber Life, where I review Disney lightsabers, the Black Series, and even high-end NeoPixels and Profis to help you decide which you should have in your collection next. Let's unbox this thing. First and foremost, nobody does it better than the Black Series. Even though this is a cardboard box, this is a display piece. From the exquisite picture of the lightsaber to the stunning character art that we see. And to make this one even sweeter, we have Ray Stevenson on the box, who unfortunately passed away, but did an outstanding job playing Baylan Skoll in the Ahsoka Disney Plus series. Seriously folks, this is one of my favorite parts of the Black Series collection. As is standard for the Black Series, this one comes with a display stand as well as an instruction manual. And folks, we have one of my favorite hilts in recent memory in Star Wars. There's a lot of pros and cons to this one. I'm gonna tear everything apart so you have a full understanding of what this looks like. First of all, this one is massive. And by the way, that's intentional. It represents a screen accurate version of the hilt. Now, this one is a little too clean cut for me. This looks like it was just manufactured. The Disney Legacy version has a little bit of weathering across the board, and I like the tone on it a little better. But nothing wrong with this. Here, I do like some of the carbon scoring we get towards the top. This is a really nice feature when it comes to detail. Going from the bottom up, we've got our pommel with the D-ring, which I am a huge fan of. This could hang on your belt if you want to cosplay, no problem. I'm going to talk about the weight of the hilt in a moment. Here we've got a grip that will fit almost any hand. Here is our ignition switch. It's a button, which is probably the most problematic part of this lightsaber. More on that later. And on the back, we've got a button for effects. On the Disney version, this is where you ignite the blade, and honestly, I prefer it up there because this one gets in the way. Here, you've got kind of a grip, so your hand really can't slide above that. And then up top, we've got our emitter, which is so unique. I love Baylan Skoll's lightsaber. As they say in the show, it's completely unique. And one thing the Black Series does so well is their blade plugs. This is actually just for display. And here, if we take this off, it actually unscrews, which is a little bit unique. And this piece is metal. Really nice feature. And to install our blade, we unscrew the emitter. The Black Series comes with a standard 31-inch blade, and recently they've started putting the name of the character on the blade, which is a blessing because these blades are only specific to the hilt they come with. They are not like the Legacy ones where you can change them out. So if you hang them on your wall or however you store them, it's really easy to figure out which blade goes with which hilt. And then this slides right over the blade, you twist that into place, and voila, it is nice and secure. One small gripe I have, the emitter doesn't always line up with the hilt itself, so it's a little staggered, but it's something I can let go. Now I want to compare the Baylan lightsaber to two other lightsabers just to give you a little bit of context. Stylistically, the Kylo Ren lightsaber reminds me of this. This is the Disney Legacy version from Galaxy's Edge. Just to get a comparison on the hilt size, the Baylan one goes past it a few inches, which is wild. I would say the Baylan hilt is slightly thicker than I want it to be, but it's okay. It's about right. If you look at the bottom, Disney lightsabers are known for being massive. This one has a wider circumference, so that should say a lot about it. However, it is far lighter. And of course, the Kylo Ren also has carbon scoring, and that reminded me a little of the Baylan. And the other lightsaber I wanted to showcase is the Sabine Wren from the Black Series. This is the most recent one that came out before Baylan's. Now it makes sense because they are from the same show, the Ahsoka show on Disney Plus. And just to give a comparison a little bit here, they're not far off. Again, the Baylan one is a few inches bigger. I don't love the direction the Black Series has taken where they almost feel and look a little bit cheaper than they used to, but that's what we're looking at on the size. Now, before I light this one up, I just want to talk about the orange you're gonna see here. This is the first of its kind in the Black Series. It's one of the two orange lightsabers in all of Star Wars alongside Shin Hati's. So this one holds a special place in my heart. I also love the color orange, but they got the shade right on this. That's a big deal to me, and it should be to you as a collector. Again, the visual realism on the hilt is spot on. Could use a little more weathering, but I think you're gonna be impressed by this blade. Let's light it up in 3, 2, 1. Oh, yes. Now, there's no lacking for space on this hilt. I mean, my goodness, look how much space I have with my two hands. They're not anywhere close to each other. Like I said, when we were looking at the hilt up close, I have an issue with where to hold this sometimes. I feel very much like Baylan Skoll when I hold it. If I want to avoid the ignition button, I have to hold it like this. Not the most ideal, but at the same time, this almost reminds me of an old Templar knight, kind of like a crossguard, very reminiscent of Kylo Ren's, just massive. And let's look at that smooth ignition again. Fast ignition, slow recall, which is common of this lightsaber, but that's a style choice and I love it. Now, because it's so freaking light, it's absolutely a spinnable lightsaber. You just have to hold it awkwardly low if you want to do it, because if you hold it in the middle, I promise you're going to hit that ignition, or you can hold it up here, but it doesn't feel as natural because the hilt is just so long. I wish the D-ring was just a little tighter. That can kind of flap when you're spinning it, although I've seen worse. Another thing that I really like about what they did with the advanced LEDs in this one, it's a little bit brighter than the lightsaber blades we'd see on a Legacy saber. I'll show you a comparison on that in just a moment. Let's talk about the sound for a second. I want to zoom in on kind of the ignition. I gotta hand it to Hasbro. They nailed this one. It is perfect. It is perfectly like the show. However, this saber's major weakness is how quiet it is. I've got brand new batteries in this thing and you can barely hear it. Even when no one's talking, it's got a purr, almost like a Harley. You can't hear it. That's a huge letdown. So accuracy, 2 big thumbs up. Sound volume, 1 out of 10. One other major thing that is wild, seeing that this is a retail lightsaber. Retail lightsabers like the Black Series and Disney don't have a lot of capabilities, including smooth swing. This one has good swing sensitivity, probably because of the size of the hilt. But when you swing it, you do hear one of a few kind of swing sounds. That's impressive. That is rarely the case on both Legacy and Black Series lightsabers. Here, what a major win that is. It's such a weird dichotomy because the accuracy and the sound effects with the sensitivity are top notch, but boy does it get buried when it comes to the volume. So quiet. Now let's talk ignition. This is the ignition button for this. Even in this review so far, even behind the scenes, I have turned this on and off several times and I felt like I wasn't close to it. It's so sensitive and you don't usually see that on these lightsabers. It's not in a good way. Also, sometimes when you hit the button, there is a major delay. The blade comes out fast, but it comes in slow and I think that's part of it. Watch. That's a wild thing. I've never seen that on any Black Series saber before. Again, one more time. I don't love that. I think that should come back right away. Even if the blade is just halfway and I happen to hit the button, it should come in right away. Now to get that real effect for this beautiful orange, let's turn the lights off. I'm so upset that we can barely hear this sound because it's amazing. We've got our blaster deflect, tip drag, and then the flash on clash. This lightsaber overall is meant to be a slower tempo. You definitely cannot duel with it because you don't want to ruin this blade. It's not like the Legacy lightsabers where you can use almost any blade regardless of the hilt. Truly beautiful color here. And I want to give a comparison to the brightness. So let's see what a Legacy lightsaber looks like. Here's Kylo Ren. That's a red. And here is Baylan's Force Effects Elite. Now Kylo's has a flicker, that's on purpose. Baylan's does not, but you see that there's a little bit of a difference there in the brightness. Not a ton, but noticeable for sure. And you know how I feel about the ignition. I don't love Legacies, look how they come out in thirds, a little choppy. Whereas the Force Effects Elite is so smooth. You understand my love for the Ahsoka show, plus this character. Baylan Skoll has become one of my favorite characters in Star Wars. But with this lightsaber specifically, who is it for? If you collect Black Series lightsabers, get this lightsaber. If you are a fan of the Ahsoka show, which introduced us to so many amazing lightsabers, it had the white Ahsoka lightsabers. It had the Sabine lightsaber, which was kind of Ezra's but modified from Rebels. We saw the Inquisitor lightsaber from Marok. We see Shin Hati's lightsaber. And of course, we we see the brand new V3 Ezra lightsaber based on Kanan's lightsaber at the end of the series. So the Baylan lightsaber fits in an incredible family of sabers. If you're like me and like orange, this is a unique lightsaber. One of 2 orange lightsabers in existence in Star Wars, and the only one in the Black Series. And if you're a newer collector and you're just more so of a casual buyer, I don't see any harm in getting this one. Now, before I get to my final verdict on this, I do think there are a few groups who should skip this one. Now, obviously, if you're like me, you just want every lightsaber under the sun. Like, come on. But we know that there's finite resources and time and space. My wall is filling up fast. If you care about the sound on this one, as amazing as the tone is, the quality of the volume is terrible. I hate to talk anything bad about this lightsaber. If you're a fan looking for lots of features that you might see on a base lit or even higher end lightsaber, skip this one. You've seen everything it can do already. If you're value focused, normally I would say if you are, you want to get a retail lightsaber. In this case, I think this is too expensive. More on that in a second. And of course, if you're looking for higher end performance, things like smooth swing, color changing, different sound fonts, I would skip this one if you're looking for a NeoPixel or maybe even a nice base lit lightsaber. Now, my final verdict on the Force FX Elite Black Series Baylan Skoll. I'm gonna make this very clear. At its normal retail price of $250 US, no chance. At $150, you could talk me into it, but skip. At $125, which is often the case for Black Series lightsabers a few months into their existence, I say swing for the fences. That's the sweet spot. The only thing I would be cautious of is these do disappear after about a year or 2. So when you find a sale, if you want this lightsaber, get it, because you will pay the price for it later on. And despite its shortcomings, I really do enjoy this lightsaber. Love to have an orange one in my collection finally. Comment below if you'd like to see me do a full video comparison comparing this Black Series lightsaber to the Disney Legacy version that came out last year. If you enjoyed this review or found it helpful, hit that subscribe button for me. And if you're looking for your next video to watch, that's the one you should watch right there. May the Force be with you. This is where the fun begins.